went from being fun and being social to being a problem that I realized I had no control over. Just somewhere along the line, it just flipped, and that was the only thing that I could focus on. Literally, when they say alcohol calling the shots, it was running my life. I knew I was an alcoholic, but for a while, I really questioned it because I grew up in an awesome household. I never had any trauma. I never had any family issues. I never really got in trouble. I was a 3-sport all-state athlete. Like, what could go wrong? Why am I an alcoholic? But it just goes to show how cunning, baffling, and powerful the disease is. It doesn't discriminate. It's the most helpless, hopeless feeling. My last recollections of the last month that I was in complete addiction, it was almost like there was a dark shadow over me. And it's terrifying because it's the only thing you can think about. All I could focus on was whether or not I had enough alcohol to last me through the day. And then the most stressful part was probably the game I would play of hitting up different liquor stores or going to different places so the clerks didn't think we had a problem. And when you're in that level of addiction, when you're that helpless, you know that there's no way to get better by keep doing this, but that's the only thing you want to do. And at that point, I don't even think it's something I wanted to do. I knew it was something that I had to do, or else I was going to keep being sick. And it was just a non-stop circle, and it was exhausting. And I'll be honest, there were nights where I'd have to call friends because I was thinking about getting a gun out from under my bed and blowing my brains out, because that's the only thing you can think about. You know there's nothing you can do. It was to the point where I was praying to God not to kill me, but I was just praying not to wake up because I didn't want to start the cycle over again. And I don't know exactly what led to that night on January 12th, but I snapped. And it was at that point that we knew that all these attempts weren't really helping out. Went to the doctor the next day, and she looked me straight in the face and said, "Alex, if you don't stop, you're gonna die." And I was beat. I was like, you know, these times that I thought about killing myself, I couldn't do it. But I knew that if I kept going down this path, I wouldn't have to worry about that because it was gonna happen eventually. Before that night, I was just going through the steps just to make other people happy and whatnot. The first step was I had to detox medically. So I went to a place up in Westchester, Ohio, and from there, my doctors basically said, "We won't see you again unless you complete some sort of long-term treatment." And I found the most amazing place. They said, "Alex, we think we want to send you to Hotel California by the Sea." And I was like, "Woo, going to the ocean." And they were like, "In Blue Ash." And I was like, "Oh man." But I heard the expression that we're all playing checkers and God's playing chess. He already had reset in my path before I even knew what Reset Ministries was. And my thought on sober living was a bunch of guys crammed into a house, and it just didn't sound like fun. I didn't even know what this place was, but it was already in my path. God just like, he's still doing things that I don't even realize yet. I do feel guilty still sometimes. My family all they wanted from me was the best. And all they ever did was just try to show support and love. But for the longest time, I didn't accept it. If I was still alive in active addiction, I mean, there's no way. I didn't think I had a future. I didn't want a future because I didn't want to keep going down that path. But God's turned that light back on in my eyes. And everything is great. I mean, there's a future, and I'm just glad that He's able to be a part of my life. Just functioning again and being part of society, it's been fun to kind of reintegrate back in there. And I've got a list of things I want to do sober to get to experience and actually remember what it's like to do it. I struggled for a while with admitting that I was an alcoholic. I was embarrassed by it. I was afraid by it. But now I realize it's part of who I am. And I had somebody ask me, Alex, if you could take a pill and get rid of your addiction and go back to drinking as a normal human being, would you do it? And I thought about it and came to the conclusion that no, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't have this relationship with God that I have if I wasn't an alcoholic. So for as much pain and darkness that I went through, that's nothing compared to what I see now, being with God and being in the life that I'm in right now. So it might seem dark and it might not seem like the best time, but you can get through it.